Can I ask you this, Max? You were actually out in the air locker out there, and you picked up the cricket bat. It's very hard when there's a cricket bat around not to pick up the cricket bat and do a few pretend shots. I was doing it this morning before the show. Did you ever play cricket?
I did. It's weird. I mean, I can't walk past a cricket bat. And I always play a defensive shot. Yeah. No one ever gets in there and starts playing. So I always just practice your block.
I get that. Yeah, I weirdly always practice like nicking off and then taking the gloves off, which probably speaks volumes of my cricketing talent. Were you any good as a junior?
I was, funny enough, I was a wicket keeper.
What?
No
way.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so
we don't need slips. You've got the gully covered.
I love the sport. Yeah. Probably not that good.
See, big man, tear away quick.
I should have been a bowler. I should have worked on my craft and potentially gone down the bowling path. Mornay Morkel. Is that a big saying?
Yes.
I could have gone down that path.
Yeah, it's rare that you see a nearly 7-foot wicket keeper.
Correct.
And of all the fast bowlers that came to your mind, Mornay Morkel.
Yeah, apologies. There is
Brett Lee.
There is a lot of
Australians.
Australians.
For Mornay Morkel, though. His Google alerts have just gone off in South Africa somewhere, and just like someone's talking about it.
Yeah, well done, Mornay.
Yeah. Well, the heat's going to be on Max Gawn right now, Rosie, because on Monday,
turn it up.
Max, I thought things were good with us. Like first day in, you came in with such good energy. We had such a good time with you, finding out about your teenage boy band and everything about your life. But you came in and you told us, I will definitely play this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think it was those words, but
I 100% guarantee to you, Will Anderson, I will play this weekend.
That's better.
We could play the audio, but I think we've lost it just for the second. Okay, But it was pretty much, that's the gist of what you said. And now I find out that you've just lied blatantly to my face and then you're not playing.
Yeah, I apologise. This would have been interesting if I had to come in before teams were announced. Wonder what I would have
Would you have
played
lied
with.
again?
I feel like I may have been
You would
hiding
have.
the truth.
You would have lied again.
I wouldn't have lied. I wouldn't have said I'm definitely playing. I would have been like, yeah, I'm feeling good.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's still a lie, Max.
I'm feeling shit out. So
Were you available for selection?
I was just talking to Daisy about this before, Will. I fully trained, which is quite unique to not then get picked once I fully trained. But I was hiding that I couldn't kick. I was getting away with training without doing anything really over 15 metres in terms of kicking.
Now, I've never played at the highest level, but is kicking important?
Kicking, I mean, from my position, it's lower down the pecking order, but it still is important. And I think my fitness boss sort of was watching and going, he's kicking on his left foot. Yeah. This is weird. So he asked me to kick the footy at the end of training, and I almost fell over. So
to the definition of the law, though, football is kind of important to have feet.
Correct, correct. So I got close. I said at the start that I'm going to test them. I'm not happy with the 2 to 3 weeks. I want to be 1 to 2, and I tested them, and technically I was right because I did get through training, but I just missed the kicking.
So confidence levels to be back next week for D's fans?
Well, I mean, I've got to make sure I can kick, but I'm hoping that'll come in the next couple of days. Yes.
Right. Are you going over to Perth?
I am. Yeah, the skipper sort of travels most times. Last year I got injured over Easter and I travelled, which didn't go down well at home, but this one's not going down well at home as well, that I'm randomly travelling to Perth for a night. But I like to be there. I think it's good environment, good culture to have as many people there. When I play, I love seeing the guys that aren't playing in and around the change room. So I'm
especially
more than happy to play that role. Correct.
Yeah, as captain. Are you across the Fremantle issues they had on their flight?
Yeah, I for some reason I struggle to see why it's a massive thing. Like 4 hours without going to the toilet, I feel like I can handle. But if someone does go to the toilet, then there's an issue. Like. Because it'll smell like the plane would be shocking, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're going to have to open a door, mate.
So apparently there was like a water issue with water running out on the plane for a 4-hour flight, 30 minutes into the flight, and apparently cabin crew had to scoop human waste from toilets and players had to wee in basins.
Oh,
okay.
Not ideal. Maybe that's good prep for you, though,
Not
for the Demons.
as bad for the players compared to the cabin crew, by the sounds of things.
No.
The raw end of the shit stick.
Cabin crew are very, very stiff there. But I'm surprised why the plane hasn't turned around. I do love my aviation, and I'm slightly confused why half an hour in they go, well, this plane's not going to be any good. Let's turn around and go home.
Yeah, that's right. They just push through.
They just push through. Good on them in a way. Like we're getting home. We're going to bed. How long's that flight? 4 hours.
4 hours.
hours.
But do you wee more after a game, or are you still dehydrated?
Still dehydrated. If you get drug tested post game, that can be a real tough sort of 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, I got drug tested after an Adelaide game, and I missed the flight back because we took.
You couldn't wee.
Yeah, we took a flight home straight away. Apparently, you're allowed to take the Asada guy on the plane, which would have been hilarious. He's based in Adelaide.
Who's this
woken up in Melbourne.
Do you pop him in the overhead locker, or what do you do?
If there's a spare seat, he's coming. But
I mean, that is incredible. So Con Air style, you've got him just next to you.
I kind of want to test the theory. Right.
He's just there next to you at the sink going, now get it in this bottle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, similar. Hopefully the toilet's working on the plane that Asada are at. But yeah, no, you struggle post-game to go to the toilet. So these guys, I mean, they might have been hydrating potentially. I see it as advantage us. I mean, they've had a tough flight home.
And we're joined by Max Gawn this morning. Alluded to before the ad break, Daisy, big ins and outs.
Yes.
Well, one of the big outs, well, Max is still out,
Yeah.
basically.
This sheet
Still
says
out.
Max Gawn still unavailable for the Demons.
And top of the list as well, which I'm not sure if it's, ahead of Dusty,
Yes.
which is, I mean, sorry to steal your next point. But
All right, now you go.
You're here. You're part of it, mate.
Here you go. You've got the list. Read them out. We go
so
one for one.
Dusty's out as well, Max.
Dusty's out.
Yeah.
He's still in New Zealand. Or maybe just got back. Got a bad back.
Bad
Travelling.
back. Travelled 5 hours to New Zealand. Probably didn't help. Blues Jesse Motlop may play his first game for 2024,
Okay.
so a different dynamic in the forward line.
Yeah, he's an exciting player. We played him in the practice game earlier on in the year, and it looked like he was going to be their forward pocket for the year, and then he got injured, so he's back.
Dan McStay being back
This
is
is a big one.
big story for the Pies, Daisy.
You've done a knee.
Yep.
Would you or did you try and push back quicker than the recommended time?
I was at 19 or 20, one of the two, and a project ruckman, so it didn't make sense for me to push back. But you've just seen Melksham and Ashcroft have come straight back in. I think Lockie Weller is going under the radar here, has been named for Gold Coast, and he's coming straight back in as well from a knee reco. And Dan McStay obviously just played 40 minutes or so on the weekend. So it's changed the game for knee recos. There's no big 12-month rehab and then into 4 VFL games.
Yep.
It's just straight back in after, I think, what's McStay, 9 months?
9 months. Yeah.
9 months, which is brilliant news. Jack Ginnivan back for the Hawks. The Bulldogs get a couple back. Adam Treloar and Aaron Norton.
Yep.
They're big ins.
Big ins for the Dogs.
Ginnivan's, that's the MCG return Pies. That's exciting.
Yes.
Ginny against the Pies.
I'll watch that.
Luke Bruce, as a seasoned veteran in that forward line, the Hawks would be mad if they didn't keep him on, if nothing else, just a grooming model for those young forwards.
Is there talk that Bruce potentially might not be going on?
Well, I not officially, but that's because of his age.
Well, there is
that
now because you
But I'm putting it on as in
says
he needs to go on. So
he
for
needs
anyone
to
who
go
wants
on.
to start the conversation that he doesn't, keep it down.
They do have the best 2 small forwards probably going around in Ginnivan and Watson.
The Wizard.
Watson.
Absolutely. The Crows are resting Tex Walker, and the Bombers have dropped ex-skipper Dyson Heppel, Peter Wright, and Nick Hind.
Okay.
That's a statement because Peter
Incredible.
Wright was horrible last week. So
But
fair
he won
enough.
the best and fairest last year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal to drop your former captain and your reigning best and fairest winner for one game, right?
Lee Montagna, I'm pretty sure it was, said that Peter Wright was a liability last week. It's big words.
That's Lee's words.
All right.
Distance yourself from that, mate.
I'm going to stick clear there.
What'd you say, Max? You agree?
Don't need to be doing a Sam Draper here.
Max Gawn, you've stuck around very generously for almost the full hour. We really appreciate that, Daisy Thomas.
We certainly do. Hearing that sort of interview there.
With Professor Alan Pearce,
Yes,
who's
correct.
a neuroscientist and concussion CT researcher here in Melbourne.
Do you have concerns as to what he said in relation to how you play the game, how the current player reacts, practices enforced? I stepped away in 2019. I assume it's changed a lot since then.
I think there's always going to be concerns. And I think as long as AFL is a contact sport for the next hundreds of years, there will be concerns in this space. I believe, in my opinion, that we're doing best practice currently. Best practice can change tomorrow with more studies and it can be different, but to be able to, most players, I would say, let's say 99% would walk off the ground of a concussion.
Yep.
Those that don't, the 1%, the doctors have normally picked that up. And you go straight into a 2-week protocol. Our protocol, I can only speak for Melbourne, but I'm presuming they're all very similar, is very strict. It's all about recovery. There's no phone, TV, reading a book in those first few days. It's almost dark room type stuff to be able to get. So I'm very, no, I'm not happy to get concussed, but if I got concussed, I'm happy with the protocols around it. The bit that I love is actually the Mediterranean diet part. That's something that I've looked into as well. Do you know the oldest people, the best life expectancy in the world are those people that eat Mediterranean diets, and they all tend to have darts as well, which is another side pack.
The blue zone?
I've been pushing that for a while. I've been pushing the
red wine and darts and a bit of fish on the side.
Correct, and they live to 120. So I've been pushing that with our high performance team.
The darts.
They don't mind the Mediterranean diet part, but they're a bit interested on the wine and darts.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit in what you can do outside to make yourself a little bit less susceptible to CTE concussion, and I think those are the areas AFL and AFL players can keep looking at. But right now, I think we're best practice.
You've been personally touched by this, obviously, at Melbourne. You know, one of your legendary teammates, has had to retire from the game through concussion. Like, do you think across the league the mindset has changed when it comes to the players, that this is no longer a badge of honour to get back on the field, to push through, to wave the dock away, that you just have to accept this is part of the game now?
Yeah, the last hurdle we got to get over is almost what's happening this week is the tackling and the bumping. So that's the last hurdle, is the on-purpose concussion. I mean, nothing's on purpose, but the way I'm sort of portraying that's the last sort of hurdle we got to do. Because Angus would sit here today and tell you that he has been handled extremely well when it's come to concussions. He's had best practice as well throughout his concussions. He's just unlucky that he's been, he's obviously had the big one recently, but the few early on in his career. So I heard you chat about helmets early on. Angus wears a helmet, and he knows that there's actually not much the helmet does, but he runs with this one theory. If I'm going to punch you in the face, Will, would you rather a helmet on or no helmet?
I'd prefer you didn't punch me in the face.
Okay, we'll tick that off.
That wasn't part of the question. You're getting punched in the face very shortly.
Again, I'm going to leave now. Max is going to punch me in the face.
Would you rather a helmet?
Yeah.
That's Angus's only whole philosophy on it. He gets it. There's probably not too much to it, but that's why he wore a helmet. But yeah, there's Angus. Me and Angus would be happy with how he's been handled from our doctors.
When it comes to the footballing side of it, and I said before in the 6 o'clock hour, I wouldn't have changed anything that happened throughout my career, maybe except for having extended time. But again, the research wasn't there. You just still understand the fact that from time to time, it's going to be unfortunate, like we saw on the weekend with the 2 tackles that ended in concussion, that is still part of the game and can probably never be taken out.
Yeah, there's just subtle things that are changing football. So that no one's ever come out, Goody hasn't come out and said, we do not want you to go back with the flight. But over the time, you're learning different little training techniques to hopefully wipe that out just naturally. So I think I don't think for the whole 16-year career, but I haven't seen especially late about people pulling out of contests and whatnot. So that's changing in a way, which is good. We got to do more about the Monday to Friday about trying to work out how to stop concussion acts happening out on the field. But in terms of when they happen, I think we're good.
All right. And then also all pre-seasons in Greece, Italy, Mediterranean diet.
And all of a sudden I'm out of retirement.
Good luck for the Demons on the weekend
Yeah,
over in
go D's.
Perth.
Go
And
D's.
thank you so much for your extra time today.
Thanks for having me.